They ripped my soul. They ripped They ripped my soul. They ripped my soul out of me. Yeah, just released with Andre Wade. Come to reminisce about some things. Yeah, I'm back. Praying peace upon y'all families today. Praying peace upon those who are incarcerated. Men, women, and teenagers. Come to talk about how prison will take the life out of you. And you don't want the life taken out of you by an institution. Because it ain't right what the prison will do to you. Prison will take you from black hair to gray hair. From black hair to gray hair. Wondering how all this gray done came about. And that's them years being incarcerated, thinking about the years that you have to do, thinking about those that you love that's out there that need you, and here it is, you sitting in prison. And if you reviewing this video right now, or when you do review it, and you free, then these are some things that you have to think about, because going to prison with a lot of years take away so much out of your life. You talk to people. When you talk to people, you find out how many kids they done had throughout those years that you've been incarcerated. You think you hear about the marriages they've been in and been through, and so much growth that has taken place in people's lives that you missed by being in prison. Thank you for the thumbs up. And I pray y'all having a great day. I pray that those who live in Houston that experienced the rain this morning made it home, made it to work safely, because it was pouring down this morning. It was pouring down here in H-Town, but now it ain't raining. It's beautiful out there and it's not hot. The heat is not out yet. Maybe it's about to be hot tomorrow or so, but I guess we got some tropical storms coming in and bringing that rain and that coolness, because it's been hot this last month. But prison in this stage is designed to break up happy homes, break up love affairs. You can go in with someone that you love, truly love, and going to prison, and they put you in prison for so long because prison is designed to house a person not just for one day. They designed to house you from 2 years all the way up to a life sentence. Because if you won't go to prison if you got a year, but you have 2 years, you'll go to prison. And when you go to prison, just can't get away. Like button, tell me hit that like button, cause ain't no telling what I might come back with next. But I hope y'all been enjoying y'all freedom. I hope even if you're doing wrong, enjoy your freedom. Cause see, if you're doing wrong, you can't do wrong forever. See, it's an end come from doing wrong. It's an end. It's that comes to an end. Let me tell you something. I remember when I was in my 20s. And when I was in my 20s, man, I thought I was so bad. I thought I could never get caught. I remember some times when I got away from helicopters and cars of police. And see, and that was exciting. That was exciting to me. But the end came. And when that end came, I didn't see that coming. I never seen where I would receive a 40-something year sentence. I didn't see that. And it's totally impossible for you right now today to see anything that's a disaster that's about to take place in your life. You can't see it. And see, and I'm saying that in the form of you doing criminal activity things. See, because when you living legit, right? When you living and doing things that's right, going to work every day, you work and then you sit up for vacations. See, you can see that coming because you're working for it. You're working for that to come. If you are out there hustling in the wrong manner, because you have two types of hustling. You have a wrong way of hustling and you have a right way of hustling. So, with that said, if you hustling in the right manner, the end that's gonna come to that is something great because you're working for it. See, you're working for that. You might say, well, man, I'm working for what I do doing wrong. No, you're not, because you're doing wrong. Anything can take place. Your life could be taken in the process of doing wrong. It's the same way your life could be taken even if you're doing the right thing. But the end that's going to come to you for doing something right is something good. Because that's what you're working for. That's what you're dealing with, to do some right things. Have something in your life. We sell all this dope. I told you once before, the only thing you hustling for is a lawyer, a bond, and to buy commissary when you go to prison. That's the only thing you hustling for. You hustling to pay the state back for what you done took. And you might not see it in the manner that I'm expressing it, but it's so true. It's so true, because you know why? You know how I know? Because I went through it. I went through it. I know what it's like to have a piece of money that I done hustled, and I had to give it to a lawyer. I had to give it to a lawyer. And it didn't make no sense. Because we hustle and we save. For what? To pay a lawyer. You got to have enough money. Because if you get busted right, you got to have the right type of lawyer to represent you. You can't go up in there with no court-appointed lawyer. You're not going to win. Your chances are very slim. Paying a lawyer, you got a little action. Maybe. But going to prison, people. Going to prison, you find out that this place is not for me. That's what you're going to say to yourself. Man, I ain't have no business up in here with these fools. Because there's some fools in prison. It's some fools in prison that don't make sense. And when you get in there, you go to talking to them, and this is what you'll tell them. Man, I see why you in here. A convict telling another convict, I see why you are in here. Because some people belong in prison. And the way they think is that they thinking that that's the way it's supposed to be. And it's not. Ain't nothing right about doing wrong. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're a Robin Hood, taking and giving. It's not right, man. And when you get in that institution, you find out that the place not even for you. You wasn't supposed to be here. You wasn't supposed to be here. But it's too late, because guess what? You got 20 years. You got 30 years. You got 40 years. You got a life sentence. Accidents takes place when you're doing wrong. Something that you didn't plan out that to happen like that. But it did. And now it's going to cost you some years of your life, when all you had to do is make your mind up to accept the way you live. You know, now, I got this one leg, right? I got this one leg. So, when I had my two legs, I gave all my good years with my two legs to prison. I gave all my good years to prison. My late 20s, all of my 30s, all of my 40s, and some of my 50s. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta take this serious, man. Y'all have to take this serious. Y'all have to really look at the conversation that I'm bringing you, right? Because I could have came with a story about what took place with Thunder. Thunder was an inmate on Eastham. One day I'm gonna give you the true story of Thunder. Is what they call him. Thunder, thunder, lightning, thunder. But I'm giving to you what was on my heart, right? I had something else I wanted to give, right? But when I was doing the title, that title came to my mind because, see, if I tell y'all a bunch of negative stuff every day, stuff that took place in men's lives that didn't make sense, because if they would have been in the world, that would have never happened to them. See, because they didn't see that coming. They didn't see that coming even when they was given the time. When I was given that 45 years, right? And you know what I felt? And I said to myself, I said, I'm going to beat this case on appeal. I'm going to beat this case on appeal. I took it to jury trial now because I knew I didn't do it, right? But I knew they wasn't convicting me of that case. They was convicting me of my past and what I done got away with. Now, see, I didn't realize this until years of me doing time because I didn't win on appeal. It was for some reason I did not win on appeal. And I had too much to not win. But there's some things that take place in our life that we look and fault people for. But the first finger we should point to, because you know they say when you point a finger at somebody, it's three of them pointing back at you. When you point a finger at somebody, it's three of them that's pointing back to you. So you're the largest percentage of what took place in your life. You are the largest percentage of what took place in your life because of your decision making, because of what you did of making up your mind to do, because you thought you was super fly, you thought you was a character that succeeded over the laws of the state, the laws of the land. See, to a point we have to go by the law, right? Because you look at your grandparents, your grandmothers, your grandfathers who've been working all their lives. They might have had a wild, young upbringing. But to a stage in their life, they got themselves together. They met one another. And they got married. And they had children, which is a child from your grandparents, which is a mother or a father from your grandparents. So life became life when you was born. But you didn't know that it was going to turn out this way until you start living and you start making decisions up on your own. Not worrying about, not listening to what somebody was telling you. Boy, you need to straighten up. You're going to end up down there in that prison. You're going to end up down in prison. You know some of your uncles, you ain't going to take your little old weak butt down there, boy. They're going to have you. They're going to make you out a punk. You didn't heard them kind of statements towards people. Maybe up unto yourself. Because prison, it's going to do something to you. Yes, I'm open for questions. Matter of fact, let me get, where my glasses? Yeah, I'm open for questions. Let me get my glasses. What I do with my glasses? So I can see what y'all asking me. I'm open for questions today. Let me see. Oh, Lord. I know I didn't misplace them that fast. Okay, I probably can see a little bit in this light. So come on with them questions. Come on with them questions. I'm up for them. I'm up for them. I'm up for some delight. Sugar delight. Ah. When I was in prison, they used to ask me, Mr. Wade, why you didn't just ask for what you wanted? I said, because I just felt like taking it at the time. We have to ask for what we want. A closed mouth will never be fed. A closed mouth will never be fed. But a mouth that's locked up might as well be dead. Because life don't stop just because you get locked up. Life goes on. And life changes out here. Life changes in the free world. So much take place in some people's lives while you incarcerated that affects the relationship with you that's locked up. People that you depend on. That you depend on while you locked up. That you feel like would be in your corner. Don't be in your corner. Say that. Shoot that at me again one more time. Shoot that at me again one more time. Shoot that at me one more time so I can give you the right answer. I believe that was you was asking me how many prisons I was in while I was incarcerated. I believe that was 11 maximum security units I went through. I went through 11. Yeah. I was in 11. I went to 11 units. And I did 10 years on East Ham, which was the longest I ever did on one unit. I did I went to East Ham, I went to Huge, I went to Robinson, I went from Robinson to Ellis 1, I went from Ellis 1 to Bill Clemens, I went from Bill Clemens to McConnell, I went from McConnell to Telford Unit, and I went from Telford Unit to Styles, and I was on the Wynn Unit. The reason why I was on so many units, right, is because Bill Clemens is in Amarillo. I'm from Houston. Robinson Unit is in Abilene. I'm from Houston. McConnell's in Beeville. I'm from Houston. And those units was just too far for me to be away from Houston, and not knowing that my family couldn't come visit me. In order for them to come visit me in Abilene or Amarillo, they had to catch a plane. So it was one thing I was set on, and that was keeping myself in position for my family, because my mother was getting old, and my mother loved to come visit me. So I had to get myself, because normally I got in trouble. I was on medium custody or close custody, which had me transferred because I just knew how to get shipped, and I couldn't stay where the administration wasn't in my favor, because see, if you was on McConnell and your name wasn't Pedro or Hernandez, you wasn't gonna make parole over there anyway. I had too much time to be over there because the parole board was mostly Hispanic, so I had to get away from that region. I was on Styles when I made parole, which the administration was more black and Caucasian, white. So I had a better chance. Matter of fact, two of the commissioners, well, one of them I knew personally when she used to work on East Ham. It was a female, and the head commissioner, she took in favor with me when I had given her my story of my lifetime of getting in trouble, and that up until my arrest, I had never been arrested in such a form of where the criminals was aggravated. I never really had been in that kind of arrest, so that didn't fit my MO. See, when you do wrong, you have an MO because you're gonna constantly, practically go to jail for the same thing. If you're a burglar, that's what you do. If you're a robber, that's what you do. If you're a theft person, meaning going in there boosting and all that, when you go get caught boosting, you don't go nowhere but to them state jails. I know some people that been to state jail 11 times, and I was like, 11 times. But yes, I did. I seen a lot of other inmates that I knew from Eastham, or I knew from doing time in the 80s. And when you go to prison and you've been to prison more than once, or you've been on a unit, because you can be on a unit 20 years and don't nobody even know you. Yeah, because you wasn't in that kind of mix. So you be like, man, such and such, 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 and you don't know them. You can be on these new units that they have built right now with the A and B side thing. And you can. Conroe, okay, Conroe, all right. Thumbs up to Conroe, y'all. Conroe in the highs. Been a long time since I heard somebody from Conroe on my viewing my channel. And much love out there to Conroe. Much love to you and your family. So, but you can have a cousin or somebody, a brother on one side of the field building and never see them. You'll never know they was on that side unless somebody tell you. And that's just the way the system is designed. See, you already. Okay, okay, yeah. We sure did, man. Where you been? Man? I'm still here trying to, keep it strong. And I'm glad you still one of my viewers, man. Yeah, I talked to you. I remember talking to you. Yeah, but how you been doing? Hit me up. You know the number. Cause old Dre Dog still trying to keep it going, man. I done had this medical issue that took place in my life, so a lot done slowed down, Ain't no more moving around, going here, going there. I have to stay here and wait on it to come here. So, just working. That's what's happening, man. Working, man. That's what's happening, man. And you don't this what I'm talking to the workers right now. I'm talking to the people that work, right? Don't never give up working. Don't never. And I know sometimes you just don't want to get up. You just don't want to go to work. But that's that extra push that you need of the day. See, is to know that go to work. Go to work, man. Don't think it's easier to sell dope. Don't think it's easier to do something that somebody else is doing just because they got more than you. Thank God for what you got. Thank God for what you got, and you ain't got to worry about nobody coming taking it from you because you bought it yourself and you have receipts on it. So keep going, man. Keep going, man. And I pray peace up on y'all. And it just gives me, it gives me an uplifting to come to, all right. It gives me a blessing, man. This gives me a blessing to be able to come to a channel and people appreciate what I'm bringing. People are willing to. Yes, I did. I have seen some famous peoples, and a lot of them was some country singers that done turned gospel, and they sing gospel songs. I had the opportunity to meet. I had met Bud Adams, who was the head coach of the Houston Oilers. We used to sit side by side. I had a chance to meet Mike Barber, who was a tight end professional football player for the Houston Oilers. And it was so many I have met, in motorcycle gangs and millionaires that, done turned their lives around, and they living for God, they living for Jesus. It's so much that take place in prison, because like I say, you can join programs, and you see the other side of people who really care about prisoners, really do. I told you about the time I was in this program where the people were victims. They was victims. Either they had been robbed, or they had been left for dead and survived. They was people who lost loved ones in robberies or got raped and killed. I met these people, and I was totally surprised on how they felt among the people that destroyed their families or something. And they, it takes more than a man or more than a woman to be able to accept somebody that killed their child. And these people have visit with the men and women that brought harm onto their families. They found out who they were and where they was stationed at what unit, and they would go visit. They would get a special visit with that person. And it took more than a man, like I say, or a woman. It took really a spiritual being to be able to humble them people's hearts to that manner, because there's a lot of people that don't forgive. There's a lot of people that don't forgive and don't know how to forgive. It's not that there's so much that they don't want to. It's just that you find out that you don't know how to forgive. See, because when in order to be forgiven for something that you did to someone, you have to be able to forgive somebody that done something to you or your family. You learn this, and when you learn this and you place this in your heart to sincereness, then all right. Then you know that you can accept something if you allow God to get into your heart. If you allow God to guide you to that point where your heart is so forgiving. And you know what? Being that way, you find out that all these things that you had up in you, all this hatred, all this biasness that you had in you, it just removed. God removes it. God removes it, and you just feel so good. So good. Because you know how to forgive. You know how to forgive. You know how to care about somebody that you don't even know. That you don't even know. But so y'all come on with them questions. And I'm going to try to answer them to my best ability. But I tell you this, though, a lot of my questions was answered when I was doing time. A lot of my questions was answered when I was doing time. Yes, I was in, let me see, I think I was in about 3 rides. I was in about 3 rides. And them rides, they something serious. Because so I had the thumbs up about what was going to take place. I didn't have to be out there, but I went because that was the lifestyle that I was living, and I was doing it for somebody else. See, and that was crazy. But I remember when a partner of mine, and he got into it with another homeboy that was from Houston, but I didn't know that the guy that he had got into it with was from Houston until we went on the rec yard. And when we went on the rec yard, we found ourselves fighting among our own homeboys. But you might have not, been knew them to that point as close friends or anything. It's just that these dudes was from Houston. And it was like, a black thing. I was in a semi-racial ride back in the early 2000s, and We ran over them though. We ran over them. We ran over 'em. It wasn't, but it didn't escalate to the point where they had to really lock the unit down. Because I'm gonna tell you something. See, the administration is more afraid of the Hispanic people than they are the blacks or the whites. See, when the Hispanics go to war, they go to war for years. And then, like I say, they play with them knives. It be stabbers and stuff. And see, when you have the blacks go to ride, you know, we have so much confidence in our fighting game. See, we have so much confidence in our fighting game in prison that we feel like we don't need no knives. We got these hands. We have these hands, and them hands be deadly. Them hands be deadly. So you gotta hear this. If you go a ride against a Spanish guy, right, and he 5'5" or 5'4" with a knife, yeah, who is that? Mighty Mouse? You gonna run over him with the knife, and that's just the way the mindset of the black men in prison, because they so good of fighters. They good fighters, man. Black men are good fighters, man. We have to not only just fight, physically, we have to. No, you know what? Smith unit. I really don't know nothing about Smith unit because those units came up on the land while I was incarcerated. But I know Smith unit was kind of rowdy over there, and but I might have heard something about a 2-day ride. But yeah, you have ride over the unit like for 12 hours or something. It took over the unit for a long time, and they terrorized the unit. But I wouldn't want to be in a place like that. But that ride, I think, on Smith unit was behind a black dude that was jacking off on a woman around some Mexicans, and the Mexicans got mad and jumped on the dude or something, and that ride kicked off because them jumping on the black dude. I think that's if I can recall, that's what that was behind. And yeah, they went off because, hello, how you doing? Yeah, that was crazy. But a ride can jump off for anything when it comes to other races of people. When it comes to other people, not like, cause you got some. Well, I can say to a degree I do, because I find myself like in certain situations. In certain, like yesterday, I was with a female, and I found myself of something that we was talking about, and I got zoned out, and she say, "What you thinking about?" And it was just something that I was thinking of, that when I was in prison, right? Because when you're in prison, it's certain things that you pray and ask God for, and good women are one of the main things that you pray for outside of freedom, right? And it just it's amazing how God answers prayers, and you have to acknowledge the fact that God answered your prayers. See, sometimes people don't acknowledge what they pray for, and they oversee it in thinking that it was all up on themselves. But they forgot they asked God to do this for them, and He does it. So we have to pay attention to what we pray for, and we have to pay attention to our opportunities that God has for us in life. Like, the service saying that he's been working. See, that's a good thing. See, that's a real good thing that you have been working. And I know some guys that I was incarcerated with right now that's out there working and don't never want to go back to prison. Don't want to never go back to prison. They're not making them same decisions at the age 50 that they made. Yes, they put different races together. What they do is they try to size the person up in weight. They try to size them up in age. So you don't want to put a person that's 125 pounds in a cell with a person that's 300 pounds. Automatically, the 300 pounder is gonna hog the 150 the 50 pound person. They're gonna hog them. Ain't no doubt about it. They're just gonna hog them. That's just the way it is in prison. So they house you out. They will house you outside your race, and they will house you in the mouth. If you 200 pounds, they're gonna put a dude. They're gonna put somebody in that's 200 or close to 200 or a little over 200. But they're gonna weigh you right, and they're not gonna put you in there where your life can totally be in danger with somebody that's oversized than you. Just administration, they evaluate. They have a thing called the count room, and the count room people, they is the ones that house you. They look at your profile. See, before you even must get a cell, they have to evaluate the cells that's open. Well, if a race war break out, they're gonna lock the facility down. If it's on, they're gonna lock the whole unit down. If it's a race thing, because they got to first figure out what's the reason why, why they going off, and like I say, if it's blacks and Hispanic, mostly what it probably would be, because it's just something about the white boys and they race. You don't hear about too many riots breaking out with them. You know what I'm saying? Because they really outnumbered. They really outnumbered on the unit, because you got more blacks and more Hispanics in prison, but you got more whites going to prison right now today than any other race. Yeah, you have more whites going to prison than any race right now today. Thank you, appreciate it, appreciate it. I doing them years, right? Doing those years, all those years, I came to find out that all I ever had to do was pray. All I had to ever do is just give whatever was upon me that wasn't right to God. And learning that is what I try to express to people right now today. And so many people in this world loves God. So many. They love God more so than they love the devil. Appreciate you, baby boy. Appreciate you, baby boy. God bless you, man. God bless you and your family, man. It's always a blessing, man. I appreciate that hit my green dot up and my cash app, but I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm here, man. I'm here, man. If you feel like calling me, if you feel like talking about anything, man, you can call me, because I'm gonna give you what's ever in my heart that God places up on my heart. I'm not gonna tell you nothing that could harm you. It could only benefit you. You can utilize it with your children. I met a woman one day in the grocery store, and I went to talking to her, and I told her about Just Release. She was telling me about her son and what he was going through, and that she felt that that's what he needed. And so she called me one day and told me how thankful that she was that I had given that information, because her son always watches my channel, and that's the kind of stuff that that get to a man, right? That get to a man that wants was in prison, that once did 20-something years in prison, that once used to think negative on a daily basis, and you just don't imagine what that does to a man that was in that stage where you thought change could never take place. But listen to me. Listen to me before you find yourself in a place where you don't realize that you don't belong there until you got there. Change can take place in anybody. Change can take place in anybody. God make things good for us on a daily basis. He bring life to us when we open our eyes from a dead sleep. That was God. That wasn't an alarm clock. That wasn't a snoring from that man that was laying next to you. I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Prayer. We have to trust God, man. We have to trust God. We have to trust God that whatever we do, whatever trouble we place ourselves in, that if we give it to Him sincerely, He'll get us out of it. He'll get us out of it. But He might not get it when you want Him to get you out, but He'll get you out of that. He got me out of those 45 aggravated year sentences. He got me out of that. And if I don't tell nobody that I've been locked up that long, they would never know. They would never know. Looking at me, you would never know. I'm not walking around looking like a cocky toy. You know, some of them old prisoners get out, they be so big and with them old looks. You know, there's something wrong with him. Yeah, there's something wrong with you. Oh, look at all. Nigga, what's wrong with you? Prisoners don't come out looking like that when they change. When they change, because when you know you change and freedom done came to you, this how you look. You smile and you thank God for the freedom. Because look, man, I be going to the malls and me and my producer, we line to go to the Galleria. People are so happy and they shopping and they going places, driving nice cars. Appreciate you people. Because all I know how to do is bring something good. It might not be something that you might not want to hear. You know, like church, right? See, when you go to church and you listen to what the preacher bring, right? And you be like, man, what is he talking about? See, because every sermon in church ain't for you, but it's for somebody that's in the church. It's for somebody that's in the church. Every channel, every show that I give, you might not agree with. You might not agree with. And I know the kind of viewers that I have. So I'm going to bring what's needed to be brought when it's on my heart. When it's on my heart. Because see, if I go all week talking about somebody getting raped, somebody getting beat up, then I ain't never talked about what's really truthful or what took place in prison. And that was the change that it brings on men and women that come out here in society and don't go back. Because that could take place in a criminal's life. That can take place in a person's life right now, out here in society, before he ever even experienced going to prison. You can stop right now, because I'm telling you, if you get in that courtroom with something great, they're going to hide you. I told you I was on Eastham for 10 years. Yeah. I told you I was on Eastham for 10 years, man. I didn't hear train for 10 years out there. What was my most afraid time in prison? Not making parole was my most afraid thing, man. Every time I came up for parole, and you know, you be waiting on that answer. You be praying for that right answer. Because I never was afraid of what a man could do to me because I knew I could do it to the man as well. So I wasn't no coward. I wasn't no coward. I went to the day room. I went strapped up when it was that time of season that you had to be strapped up. I've been among a facility, excuse me, where race tension was built up among the Hispanic and the black. I know what it's like to feel like somebody want to hurt you and then put out the word that they're going to hurt you. God kept me safe. God kept me safe and kept me where I didn't have to be afraid of another man. I was afraid of the administration because they was the most dangerous. The administration was the most I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And that's why I'm trying to be on point because ain't nothing fake about me. See, ain't never been nothing fake about me. I feel like I never had to lie to another man. See, dude be talking about, man, you lying, Dre. I don't lie to no another man. I lied to the courts. I lied to the police. I ain't got to lie to nobody that I deal with on a daily basis. I don't have to lie. I don't have to lie about my past or anything. Because, see, if I come to you, right, and I come to you and I'm telling you something that's on my heart, and if you call me a lie, I was going to probably swing on you because I hate that. I was dealing with this female, right, and she always claiming that I'm with another woman and all I can tell is I'm not, right? I don't do that. And I don't have no reason to lie to you, and it messes with me, right? And what that does is it pushes me away because I learned how to get away from a woman. See, I learned how to get away from a woman because I could see a problem. And the problem don't be me, the problem is her. Because I told you, God kept me safe. God kept me safe in prison. And just as well as he didn't just take the time out to keep me safe in prison, he let me know that he'll keep me safe for the rest of my life. All I have to do is trust him. Hey, I already told y'all, when you tell somebody about just release, tell them hit that like button. My advice to the person that's facing opening prison. This is what I always tell people, right? You know that the way you come into a relationship is the way that relationship basically gonna end. So if you come into a unit, right? You come into a prison. The way you come into that prison is gonna dictate your time. Hey, what's going on, Robert? Well, how you doing? How you doing? Well, y'all hit me up today. Y'all hit me up today, but I like that. I like that. I enjoy that. But to answer to the other person's question, like I say, if you go into a facility and it's rowdy, but you go in there talking about Reva. All right. Hey there. Hey there. What's up? You got something on your mind? You got something you want to ask me? Hit it. Y'all come on with it. Yeah, just released with Andre Wade, and I'm gonna come back with it. Yeah. Say, but listen, if you go to a unit and it's rowdy, and you go in there acting like a real coward, now it's not your issue. It really ain't. It's really not your issue when somebody don't believe you. It really is not. You at work, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Work time. They usually when I used to be in the field, right? And I was on this unit back in the 80s. They say, la da da to everybody, all asses and all bodies, out the bed and on your feet, into the heat. Yeah, work time. And man, we used to get it. But it's good. It's good that you're working. You got some people that's not working. You got some people that's not working, and they feel that they last result is of doing something wrong, robbing somebody, trying to sell some dope. But that's not the last result, people. The last result is giving it to God. And when you give it to God, you have to have patience with it, just like He have patience with us. You have to truly trust God that He's going to deal with that situation that you came to Him with, because we learned that the God that we pray to is a loving God. He's a forgiving God, and He's a God with patience. Nobody have better patience than God. And so if you can have patience with Him, then He's going to place whatever you asked Him for in your life. He's going to give it to you. Trust me. Trust me. But if you go to a unit, you can't go into the unit acting as if you the baddest man coming in. Because it's, matter of fact, it's some dudes that'll deal with you on that level, even though they don't have bill attendants anymore. But going into a facility, you have to first pay attention to it. Pay attention to the dislike people. Pay attention to the people that's likable. Pay attention to what's going on in the day room instead of just getting in the day room and getting on the domino table. Watch and see how many arguments go on at the tables of where people playing games. Watch the seat routing, how people is placing their seat marks on their seats and stuff on the benches. Don't just go sit down. Stand up and sit back and just observe the day room. Observe your work area, wherever. Just observe it, because people will set you up. People will put shanks in your cell. People will put dope in your cells and tell them people that you got it in your house and you don't even know about it. And they come down there and shake it down and find it. These people do that in prison. So you have to find somebody that's don't eat that honey bun. Don't eat that honey bun. Find out where that honey bun come from. See, if a person ain't bringing something you personally, asking if you want something, you can't take nothing from everybody. Because they still play them booty games in prison, right? So you can't play, hey homeboy, you want something? First, how you calling me homeboy and I never met him before. So if you're dealing with somebody that you meet, because you're going to meet somebody in prison, somebody going to say, hey homie, why you doing, man? Where you from? And you can't dislike him off the top. That might be the partner that you need to run with in prison, because you got to have a partner. You got to have somebody, man, that you can trust to watch your back. And that's the same way them people feel the same way. Everybody don't have to be your friend in prison, because everybody's not going to be your friend. They're going to play like it. Use you because you go to commissary. Oh, if you could do that, go to commissary outlet every time they call it, everybody going to be your friend. Everybody going to be your friend. Don't be used. Don't be used by that, because that doesn't mean anything, man. Them people are not right. A lot of them is not right. They don't have the right intention of dealing with you in prison. So y'all be, just take time out, to look at what's right for you in your life, even in prison. Because see, if you're not right in prison, you can lose your life right now today. Prison is still dangerous. There's still people in prison that would kill you. There's still people in prison that would rape you. There's still people in prison that just don't give a damn about you. You have to care about yourself more so than anybody. You have to care about yourself. Pay attention. I know it. Hey, but I told y'all. When you tell somebody about Just Release, tell them hit that like button. Tell them hit that like button. Because ain't no telling what I might come back with next. I almost left y'all just then. Because y'all already know I'll be coming to an end. But I done shared some things with you all. It's up to you to take it to heart. Because see, I already been through it. And I never want to go through it again if it's God's will. We can't predict the future, so we don't know what the future may hold for us. But if we living right, we know one thing that won't be hold for us, and that's another cage, another confinement unit. Because if we living right, the only thing that's going to be right for us out here is God, giving it to God. So when you give it to God and we ask for peace, He places us in peace. He don't place no drama around us. He don't place no ignorant people in our lives. He keeps us away from that. Pay attention to what you pray for and pay attention to what's becoming of your life from today until tomorrow. Just be ready. And I told y'all. Tell them hit that like button. Tell them hit that like button. Because see, if you like it, if you like Just Release, oh yeah, that's all right. That's all right. And you know what? I can remember a lot, right? I can remember some things that took place in my life, even if it wasn't right, even if I felt like it wasn't even right at that time. But I dealt with it. I dealt with it to my best abilities because I had to. I was in prison. I was on a maximum security unit, and before I got there, I've already heard about how the inmates were. So when I pulled up, I had to pull up with a mindset that I was going to survive. I was going to survive. And when I went to East Sam and I did those 10 years and I was transferred to other units, I didn't think that other units was more dangerous than East Ham. When I was in Goree and I went into the administration, where they tell you where you're going, those people told me at 25 years old, that's right, that's the mindset you have to have. When you have that kind of mindset of not going back to somewhere, you're not going to go. And it's just like out here in society. When we make our mind of not going or back around someone or back to that kind of place, you don't go. So when you make your mind up not to go back to jail, you won't go back. You won't go back because you remember what it was like. You remember what you did to go there. You won't do that anymore because you're being mindful of it. You having knowledge of it. All right, like check out. All right. I can deal with that. I can deal with that because I ain't mad. I ain't mad at you. Sometimes we need a little checking. Sometimes you have to check somebody in your life, even your spouse, even your brother. You might have to even check your mama sometime because they'll get out of line. But being mindful of something that wasn't right for you is something to always remember because it'll keep you out of trouble. It'll keep you from making that same mistake. And that's the truth. That's the truth. See, those like me that made so many mistakes over and over again is because that's what I was doing. That's what I had my mind made up to do. So the outcome was never right. It was never right. I would go do the same thing again, and something took place. I went to jail. But I wasn't scared when I went to jail. See, some people go to jail and it terrifies them the first time, and they'll never go back. People go to prison the first time and never go back. They was terrified of what was taking place in there. Or some people just don't like nobody. My first day out, let me see. Now we got to look at the years at the age I was when I gotten out, right? Yeah. Tap tap on that cash out. Y'all know that cash out now. Y'all know that cash out. Tap on that cash out. Yeah, that's the cash because if you really enjoying it, that's what you'll do. You go hit that cash out. You go hit that because somebody already have. And that's much love. That's much love. I appreciate it. But guess what? Dollar sign, capital J, capital R, LESD. Representing just release. Yeah, representing just release. Go hit that cash out. But listen, but my first day out, right, I was at that age, I was in my 50s. No, yeah, I was 49. I was 49. And I was already settled in myself as I used to go to sleep because I stopped being a day room guy because I was living on the dorm, so I didn't have to just go to the day room all the time. But I became a reader, and I used to enjoy reading at certain times of the night, and I would go to sleep after reading. But when I gotten out, I had I didn't have no feel for no club. They had uh, celebrated a little bit at the house with family and friends that was here, and they cooked and stuff. But I didn't stay up late. I didn't stay up late, and I was so happy to wake up in a free will bed. I was so and I wanted to go lay down in a free will bed and a free will mattress. I went and I was just like, I was just I was all off into it, and I was all free will bed. You're gonna miss it if you go to prison. You're gonna miss this free will bed if you go to prison. But I was enjoyed myself that night. I really enjoyed myself. I didn't get drunk. I don't drink, but I got full. I got full. I got funky full, and I went to sleep. I went to sleep. Didn't have no woman in my life at the time, so I didn't have to go stay overnight and make plans with that. Freedom had came upon me. I was released from prison. I was released from prison. I didn't have a woman relationship that close, so I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about that. And when it did came, I was happy for the moment because that relationship didn't last. I want a lasting relationship. I want a relationship that lasts forever. That's the relationship I want with a woman. Because I know every day we both were going through something and gonna go through something. But being able to okay, you got to come back with that again for me. I got to the point where you said something about your friend did 17 years or something. Uh, come back with it to me. Come back with it. Let me get it so I can give you the right answer to your question. I can give what was placed on my heart. Because that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do is bring something good. I want to give to you what was given to me throughout the years I was incarcerated. I did a long time, but I had it on my mind to entertain anything that came my way. But God kept me safe and kept me away from the fools of the walls of incarceration. Hey, The best thing you can do, set him up for a phone if they got phones in the prison, so you can communicate, have them, give him an opportunity to call, write him, keep a little change on his books, keep a little change on his books. He's out now, and he's still with you. He's out now and he's still with you. That's a good thing, because a lot of men, they get out and promise a woman so much, and when they get out, they don't even be with them. Okay, you want to help him make it out here. This is what you do. You allow him to do what he planned to do all them years that he was incarcerated. Don't try to push nothing on him. Don't try to push nothing on him, because sometimes our loved ones out here in society can push us too far and place us back in the mindset where we was before we went to prison. So you allow him to do what he want to do, but he have to be able to do it himself. You just a support. You that crank, you that kickstand that's there to help him in case he fall. You there. Don't try to push nothing on him. Would be the best thing, because you don't want him back going to prison for something he did years ago. Hey, thanks. All right. Hey, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate those who hit the cash app. Y'all know what it is. So get at me, because this Andre Wade was just released, and I'll be back with something else.